Jim, does this report mean we're going to have to worry when the temperatures go below freezing over a large part of America? That just puts us in jeopardy?
That's exactly what it means. We are definitely at risk. And right now, everyone is hoping that we get through this cold snap without any problems. I don't think hope's a very good strategy, but it is important that we continue to make investments in the grid so we don't have this risk in the future. That's what we really need to do. It takes significant investment to make sure we have adequate capacity for when these extreme weather events happen.
All right, that's important to note, because if we're looking at 125,000 customers right here at the start of the day without power, does it mean that we have any control over that, or is it something about the grid? Because a lot of times your local area will say, hey, make some adjustments, don't use as much electricity, sort of leading us to believe that our constraints and restraints that we make in our homes might make it possible. But what I'm hearing is that the grid really won't be able to handle the demand.
Yeah, sometimes on a local basis, it may be because the extreme weather's knocked down a power line, and that's a very local circumstance. But the bigger concern is that we're using more and more electricity, the economy's growing, and we're not adding new generating capacity to the grid. And so at some point in supply and demand, it gets out of balance, and there's not enough generating capacity to meet demand during these extreme cold weather situations. That's not good for anybody, because if your furnace isn't running, it's a serious problem. It's so serious in Texas. Remember, in 2021, we had 240 people die during that deep freeze. So this is a life or death matter. It matters a lot, and we've got to invest in infrastructure to reduce this risk in the future.
Yeah, infrastructure is a big deal, because even wind, which we like to use as a what we call the second source or another source of electrical, even that's not really reliable. In situations like this, you can have portions of that infrastructure start to freeze. You need an infrastructure system with the electrical grid and a way to transport some of that energy, or else it doesn't even help the situation. So what is needed to make the grid better?
Well, you got to make sure you have always available generation. The wind doesn't blow 24 hours and the sun doesn't shine 24 hours. What's keeping the lights on right now during this big cold snap across most of America? It's coal and natural gas. That's what's keeping the lights on today. And so we've got to make sure we have adequate generating capacity that's available all the time. And right now, public policy is encouraging closure of those types of power plants. That's not the direction we should be going. We should be adding more generation, not taking it offline.
Yeah, it really is an important point to make, so that people understand where their electricity is coming for, and why we all would love clean energy. In some cases, in some scenarios, Mother Nature does not make it possible for us to rely on these things. Such an important conversation. We appreciate you joining us today to sort of remind us and keep that conversation going and top of mind for folks. National Rural Electric Cooperative Association CEO Jim Matheson, thanks for being on Command.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it has been an odd winter when you think about it, because a record warm December for many